So the moment Reuters broke this news about the latest golden passport that's about to hit the shelf, and it's from Botswana, the Botswana Citizenship by Investment program. And since then, a lot of us, especially I, have been spending a lot of time trying to get more insights, more details. What is the value proposition? Is it a good citizenship to acquire? So there are two things, right? There's a citizenship aspect of it. Is it a safe country? Is it worth it? Is it a good plan B location to escape the craziness around the world, right? To be safe inside that country. That's one aspect. The second aspect is the passport useless? Is it usable? What is the access that you have and that kind of stuff? And then the most important thing is the launch date, the price proposition. I'm going to give you my analysis where I think this fits best and my prediction on what price point this might launch at. That's going to be in the second half of the video. Now, before we get neck deep into this conversation, every single detail about this program, I'm going to be the first one to report to you so you get all the information as it comes out. If you are subscribed to this channel, it's not only going to help me bring you this valuable information, it's going to help us grow and it's going to keep you updated. So please do me a favor, check your subscription, and if you aren't subscribed to the channel, take a moment and subscribe. It does not cost you anything, but it does a lot of good. It creates a big impact. Let's quickly look at whether the passport is useful or not. So if you look at the visa-free access on this passport, you have an ETA to the UK, which is not terrible. I mean, it's good. Now, whether it's going to be approved, not going to be approved, is it applicable to citizenship by investment, economic investors? That needs to be figured out because very soon, as soon as the program launches, usually the Western governments want to crack down. They want to take away the access from that passport. Something interesting here is Argentina ETA, which is interesting. And let's go down the list. And I'm not going to go through the e-visas on this one because e-visa is a visa. You got to just apply for it. It's online. And then some e-visas are really, they call it e-visa, but they're hybrid. So you apply online and then you get called for an interview. So we are not interested in all of that. Visa on arrival, well, nothing really interesting pops up here. Now, the visa-free access, that is what we are trying to test this passport on. What I particularly found interesting here is Brazil. Now, some people want to enter Brazil visa-free and then use a CPLP nationality, something like this, right, from a CPLP country that you would use in order to strike Brazil. That's a client document. You can get yours, and we have 3 programs in Africa. If you missed that all-important coverage, take a look at that here. But here you have the Brazilian access. So you can enter Brazil using this passport, and then you have, the list goes on. What's really interesting here is South Korea. Not all passports have South Korea. This one does. So that's an interesting access. Malaysia and Mauritius. Well, Mauritius is a key one, right? So a lot of passports actually have Mauritius, a lot of West African passports, and there's some citizenship by exception or citizenship by investment programs which have direct access to Mauritius. So you can not only get access to Brazil, but you can strike the Mauritian residency, the 0 to 3% residency. This is far better, in my opinion, than the Dubai Golden Visa. And if you want to learn why I strongly feel this way, you can check this video. This is the latest video that I talk about. I compare head-on Mauritius to Dubai and why I feel Mauritius hands down wins. There's some specific reasons why. So go and check that one. But you have access to Mauritius like most of the passports. Nothing great here. Malaysia having visa-free is good. Panama visa-free and Philippines visa-free, which does not hurt. So there's some utility to this passport. Russia visa-free. Now, some people go crazy about this one, not that they actually want to go and settle in Russia or do business there. Now, some do, some don't, but they just are fascinated by having that Russian access. Not all passports have Russia, so this one really offsets that. Having a Botswana passport, traveling to Russia is a very different profile than having a Western passport and then traveling to Russia. You have Singapore, you have South Africa, and that's where the fun ends. What are you missing over here? So I think you're missing a great deal. There's a lot of stuff that you're missing here, and none of the Western countries, for sure, no Australia, no EU nations, so none of the EU countries, obviously no Canada, no Chile, no China. A lot of Latin America, surprisingly, is missing. So no Costa Rica. You don't have access to Guatemala, Honduras. So you're missing all of that. No access to Japan, which is a disappointment. Now, usually these kind of exotic passports typically have access to places like Japan. This one does not. No access to Kuwait. No access to Mexico. Now, this is a bummer. I don't like this fact. Usually, a lot of African passports do have the Mexican visa free. This one unfortunately doesn't. In fact, it doesn't even have access to some of the lesser known European nations like Montenegro, which is a shame. There's no Morocco, which is surprising because it's an African country. Not having access to Morocco is strange. No access to Nauru, no access to Paraguay. Now, this is interesting because a lot of people want to get a second nationality which has access, visa-free access to Paraguay. So instead of really getting that Paraguayan residency or the cedula on your Western passport, you instead get that access on one of these CBI passports. So you're layering it properly. You're not exposing your home country nationality. But here, because you have no access to Paraguay, you obviously would require a visa for Paraguay. And it's going to be a difficult deal to get a Paraguayan visa on an African passport. No access to Peru. Obviously, no Saudi Arabia, no Tunisia, which is sad. Usually, a lot of West African countries have access to Tunisia. This one does not. And then, of course, no Uruguay, and so on. So, what is my assessment of the visa-free situation here? Well, I think it's not worth it if you're looking at the visa-free list of countries. Now, what is the main value proposition? If you ask me, would I consider the CBI? It all depends upon the price. Typically, just looking at the passport strength, I don't think there's anything to be excited about here. But I feel the country is one of the safer countries in Africa. So let's say you want to strike a South African permanent residency using this passport, then you can have that permanent residency. But physically, if you were to be in that region, maybe you can use Botswana, and that's where maybe it fits. It gives you a safe location. So if shit hits the fan, there's at least one location where you can considerably be safe inside the country. So there's a technical use case. Now, are you going to go there? Are you going to have your residency where you're going to head? Most people, 99% of the people are going to head to their place of residency, which is far better than any of the African options, right? So yes and no. So safety, yes, there is safety. Are you going to go there when shit hits the fan? That's a question that you got to answer. In terms of price, now what do I think? At what price are they going to launch this program at? I personally feel they're going to look at the other programs. So obviously they're not competing with the Caribbean programs, because if Caribbeans are selling their passports for 200 to 50K USD, they're offering the visa-free access to the Schengen countries. So there's obviously some value for buying those passports. This passport directly competes with the African passports. For example, like Egypt or Sierra Leone or some of the CPLP or the CPLP and ECOWAS countries, which sell at 90K to that 100K mark. So that's really the right competition for this passport, considering this is Botswana and it's a safer African nation with some okayish access. I think this program is going to be projected slightly above the Sierra Leone program. So 150K is what I'm predicting. Is this the right price? If they launch at this price, do I think this is going to be a good price? I personally don't feel this is going to be a good price. I feel this should launch at 100K. Most programs get it wrong, but if they really want to get this right, I would say 99K would be a good marketing number to throw out there, but let's call it 100K. So at 100K, it'll have good amount of interest. A lot of people, just for the safety aspect, would want to get the Botswana passport. Now, when is this going to launch? The honest answer is, as of this time, till the official price is not announced, till the actual framework is not updated, there's still some time. It's not like in a couple of months you're going to see this program. So it's going to obviously develop. And as promised, if you are subscribed, you will be notified as any new updates come out of this program. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think this is a good program? Would you consider this program? Let me know your thoughts. And in the interim, there are other African options, at least 4 to 5 options in Africa that you can quickly consider, that move very fast. At least a couple of them move really, really fast. So if you want to get something in the interim, you always have options. If you want to wait for this, I'll be reporting as changes happen. And if you like this video, give me a thumbs up and catch you in the next one.